Hey winners, welcome and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Winnie and I create travel content, predominantly solo travel content. So if you enjoy travel vlogs, destination guides and seeing the world through the eyes of a solo traveler, I would love for you to subscribe and join the winning family. As you can see by today's title, I'm going to be sharing 8 things that I loved about Kingston, Jamaica when I visited in 2024. If you don't already know, Jamaica has a really special place in my heart as it was the very first Caribbean island I ever visited back in 2023 and I enjoyed it so much that I decided to come back a few months later, and this time as a solo traveler. That alone probably tells you how much that I enjoyed it. So without wasting any more time, let's get into it. So the first thing that I loved was the weather. Now, as somebody born and raised in the UK with Ghanaian heritage, I'm definitely somebody who enjoys hot weather. I regularly visit Ghana partly because I love escaping the cold British winters, so stepping off the plane in Kingston felt strangely familiar. It reminded me so much of being back in Ghana, where temperatures can already be found around 27 degrees by 6 o'clock in the morning. Now, don't get me wrong, Kingston gets hot. You probably start sweating the moment you step outside. So I definitely recommend carrying water with you, taking breaks in the shade whenever you can, and wearing sunscreen if that's something you normally use. But personally, I absolutely love soaking up the sunshine. Secondly was Emancipation Park. So I stayed in New Kingston and Emancipation Park was literally across the road from where I was staying. It quickly became one of my favorite places in the city. The park officially opened in 2002 and was created as a peaceful public space celebrating freedom and Jamaica's cultural identity. One of its most recognizable features is the famous Redemption Song sculpture, showing a man and woman looking towards the sky. The sculpture symbolizes strength, hope and freedom and has become one of Kingston's most photographed landmarks. Whether I visited in the morning, during the afternoon or went for an evening stroll, I always found the park to be incredibly peaceful. It was one of those places where you could simply sit, people watch, clear your mind or slow down for a while. Thirdly, the food. Now, if you've watched my channel before, you already know I'm a foodie, but surprisingly, because of the heat, I didn't find myself eating huge meals all of the time. One place I kept going back to was Fishport, but I have to give a special mention to Juicy Patties because listen, that place saw me multiple times. That shrimp patty and cocoa bread, I still think about it. I honestly don't know what they put in those patties, but they are so good that I would happily fly back to Jamaica just to eat one again. If you're visiting Jamaica, trying a Jamaican patty is an absolute must. The fourth thing I loved was the National Gallery of Jamaica. If you appreciate art, especially local art, this place is definitely worth visiting. I spent several hours walking around the exhibitions, admiring the incredible artwork and listening to some of the audio installations. What really surprised me was discovering just how rich Jamaica's art scene is. Before my visit, I'd mostly heard people talk about the beaches. Obviously, I was aware about reggae music because I grew up on that. And of course, the food. I hadn't realized how much artistic talent and cultural history could be found inside the gallery. And it definitely left me wanting to learn more about Jamaica's creative scene. Next up, the Bob Marley Museum. Now, if you know me well, you will know that this was a dream come true because Bob Marley has been one of my favorite musicians of all time. Now, the museum is actually located in a house where Bob Marley lived and worked during the 1970s. Today, it's been preserved with many of his personal belongings, awards, photographs, and even his recording studio, giving visitors a fascinating glimpse into both his music and his life. Now, walking through the rooms where he once wrote songs and created music that inspired people all over the world felt really magical. Like, it's a feeling that still stays with me right now. It was definitely one of the highlights of my trip. Number 6, Hope Zoo. Now, I generally had a lovely time here. There were so many different animals to see, including flamingos, monkeys, parrots, lions, and camels. But I have to say, for me personally, the peacocks completely stole the show for me. They honestly knew that they were beautiful, and you know what? They were not afraid to show it. And I absolutely loved that. It started raining while I was there, but I enjoyed exploring the zoo so much that the rain didn't really impact me whatsoever. I just simply stood where there was shelter, allowed for the rain to pass, and continued to explore the zoo. Definitely worth the time, the money, and it's just a memory that will always stay with me. Now, the seventh thing that I appreciated was how easy it was to get around. Now, I actually enjoy walking a lot whenever I travel. However, for longer journeys and especially within the glorious heat, I was more than happy to discover that Uber worked really well in Kingston. So being able to book rides through the app, pay by card, and chat with friendly local drivers made getting around the city feel so straightforward for me and convenient. And finally, the people. This is something that I would say is going to stay with me the most. People could usually tell I was visiting, and instead of making me feel out of place, they generally looked out for me. One of my Uber drivers noticed I was filming content on my way to the National Gallery and kindly advised me to avoid a particular road nearby, which I really appreciated. Then there were my wonderful Airbnb hosts. Because I arrived quite late in the evening, they actually drove me to the nearest Burger King since it was the only place still open. And before I left Kingston for Port Antonio, they even cooked me ackee and saltfish with dumplings, and they kindly dropped me to the coach. Yo, by the way, the ackee and saltfish with dumplings was absolutely sensational. Now, it's those acts of kindness that stay with you for a very long time. The warmth, hospitality, and genuine care people showed me made me feel so welcome, and it's one of the biggest reasons why Jamaica continues to hold a special place in my heart. If you visited Kingston before, please let me know what you enjoyed the most, and if it's somewhere that you would like to visit one day, I would absolutely love to know what's at the top of your list. Thank you so much for watching this video, and until my next one, take care, be good. Mwah.